What up, what up? Happy Thursday. We got 5 straight days of college football. Not college football. We got 5 straight days of football. We're back. We made it through the week without foosball. Ryan McGuffey here. The recap lunch hour with me, Guff. Welcome aboard. We have plenty as always to discuss. Okay. Fire away. Questions, comments, concerns. I know they're hot. They're coming in. Delayed a little bit today. Half hour later than I've been. I think the 12:30 slot seems to work good for most of you. I love when you chime in and let me know what's good. Jonathan O'Brien. Go! What's up, Jonathan? I want to yell it right back to you, man. Appreciate you being on. Plenty to discuss. I mean, obviously, look, Notre Dame tonight, very rarely is college football going to take center stage. Pete Carroll, let's get this out there too. The Bears are interviewing Pete Carroll today. It'd be nice if they did some interviews that were not on Zoom. Can we get some people in-house, please? I mean, we're not asking for much. Let's get these guys in-house and start doing some interviews. Notre Dame playing tonight for the national title. Mike, Guff, my man. Mike, my man. Corruption says, it's snowing here in Oklahoma. Wow. How about that? Oklahoma getting snow. It's bright and sunny here in Chicago. Mike is saying, go Irish. I told you yesterday the recap bet of the day will be Notre Dame centric, and it is, as we will come back to that later on in the program. I'm putting my fan cap on, which is a bad thing to do when you're betting. However, staying true to the recap bet of the day, I will have that for you later. Astros, Happy New Year, Guff. I missed earlier this week. A friend of mine said the Bears win Sunday was short-sighted and cost the Bears a better draft pick. What's everyone's thoughts? Okay, so they could have been the 7th pick. Instead, they're the 10th. I want the best coach available. I don't want to say I could care less. 3 picks difference is a big deal. However, I do think beating the Packers the way they beat the Packers and letting your rookie quarterback go down the field in 6 plays and 47 yards and 54 seconds after the Packers came back down 21-13, throw 9 on the board. It looked like the Bears were going to go into the offseason with an 11-game winning streak and then that misery losing streak that would continue with Green Bay. I think that matters. I do. I do. They have so many problems to address that falling from 7 to 10, to me, you're not going to have players throw games. I get it. All right, so totally understand why your friends are pissed about it, but in this case, I'm not. I'm not mad about it. I think it was a good win. At the end of the day, the whole thing's a mess. They have to fix that offensive line. I mean, 4 of those players need to be changed. You have one guy, Darnell Wright. Mike on Go Irish. William, hey, Guff, what are your thoughts on the Bears head coaching search? My thoughts are that I don't understand why we're not getting guys. Why was Mike Vrabel on Zoom? That infuriates me. It means you're not serious about Mike Vrabel, so why even have him on Zoom? I don't get it. Meanwhile, he's in Foxborough today at the Patriots facility. Get these guys. Mike Vrabel was available. It's not like he's coaching for the Lions and can only do Zoom interviews this week like Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Can't happen. You got to get him in-house. It's really, I question a lot, and Pete Carroll, you guys know where I stand on Pete Carroll. I'm a huge fan. I would not be upset whatsoever if they hired 73-year-old Pete Carroll. The guy's got more energy than Cap. All right. He's good for culture. I'm cool. Stop thinking. Everybody's well, what happened about long-term? Okay. People who are talking about we need a coach for the next 7 to 10 years are the same people saying, what if somebody steals our great offensive coordinator? I'll hang up and listen when you name that long list of people that have been plucked from the Bears to be great coaches elsewhere. Okay. I think I waited long enough. The point is, if I can get 3 great years from a Hall of Fame coach, now look, it may implode. I don't see that happening. I also don't see the Bears hiring Pete Carroll. It's too smart. Kyle Brandt yesterday on Twitter from the NFL Network said he expects the Bears to name a surprise head coach. Mile High wants my thoughts on Matt Campbell and David Shaw for the Bears. So David Shaw, the former Stanford coach. Matt Campbell's name surfaced yesterday as maybe the first surprise name. The Iowa State head coach. Dude's full of energy, knows how to build a program. Can it translate to the pro game? I don't see why not. Like it happens a lot. If you give these guys the resources, and I don't know Matt Campbell's contract situation in Iowa State. I'm going to look it up right now. So Matt Campbell, here's what we know about his coaching contract. Okay. So he just agreed to a contract extension with Iowa State. They made their 7th bowl game. They finished 11-3. His contract, I'm trying to find it right here for you. He's the all-time wins leader at Iowa State. He's 99-66 in 14 years as a head coach. And this is really a bad placed article here. The way they have it. So he's gotten a contract extension through 2032. 2032, and I guarantee you it's not for a cheap amount. And I don't think money should be an issue. It's an 8-year extension through 2032. They made the Big 12 title game, as we all know. There's no terms of the deal, but I guarantee you it's not. I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those situations where he's on the sideline. He was making $4 million this year, so I bet you that puppy moves up to at least $6 million, which is more. That's lower end NFL coaching. So I like the idea of exploring everybody. Some people think the list is too long. I'm all for turning every stone over. What I don't like is I just don't like not having interviews in person. I don't get it. Do you think the Bears will interview more coaches or 17 in terms of head coaching? More coaches or 17? Okay, so Jonathan's basically saying, are there more than 17 names? I think if whoever loses tonight's game, Marcus Freeman or James Franklin could surface as a candidate for the Bears, depending on who loses. I really do. Williams chiming in with Nittany Lions. That's so boring to me, by the way. I think that the college football playoff committee is sitting on their hands going, please Notre Dame, please Notre Dame, please Notre Dame, please Notre Dame. They want the ratings. They're dying for an Ohio State Notre Dame national title game. They'd be just fine with Texas Notre Dame. I think Texas Penn State is just I'll watch the game because I'm a junkie, but I might fall asleep. I hope I'm wrong. Good defense. Penn State is going to bring I like the under tonight. That should be my play of the day. I'm talking myself into it right now. This is going to be two defenses going toe-to-toe, slugging it out. Lou! Bears have had the number 1 pick the last 2 years in a row. How's that working for them? Yeah. So Lou's commenting on the person that was, I think Astro saying the Bears slipped from 7 to 10. I mean, there's enough out there. The draft picks haven't been great. I think Caleb, obviously, I like Caleb. Now, it sounds like there needs to be some work done on him too, and that's fine. Darnell Wright, to me, is still a project. He had a better year, I think. So he's your only guarantee. But, folks, they need to spend some money. I saw that the San Francisco 49ers are going to release Javon Hargrave, their defensive tackle. Deebo Samuel staying, but Javon Hargrave is interesting. That'd be somebody I think might be worth exploring. Astro says, I wish at the press conference someone would have asked McCaskey what Warren and Poles did to justify still having their jobs. What answer are you looking for there, Astros? I'm serious. What answer? Because I guarantee the answer you're looking for would not have been given. Okay? I guarantee it. David, what's up? Guff, I guess Jerry commits Mark Burley to make an appearance at Sox Fest to up ticket sales. Okay, first off, I appreciate the pivot here on getting to baseball, and there's another comment I'll get to. I'm going to read you guys the press release from the White Sox. I think you guys, you might not like the new format of Sox Fest. I say give it a chance because at least it's back. After a 5-year hiatus, at least it's back January 24th and 25th. At Ramova Theater. Mark Burley will be a headliner of additional players scheduled to join the list of Sox Fest Live. It's a different format, as we all know. He's scheduled to attend the evening's festivities on January 24th. He will be joined by teammates of the 2005 World Series pitching staff, Freddie Garcia and Jose Contreras. They've also named Harold Baines, Brooks Baldwin, Mike Talkman, and Gus Varland to the list. I know that doesn't do anything for you in terms of sexiness, but those three names, obviously Mark Burley is as loved as any player in the history of the Chicago White Sox. Certainly one of my favorite people ever as a fan and as a player too. Carrie, as a Cubs fan, nice interview with Chris Getz. You and Cap did a wonderful job. I hope Jed is next. Carrie, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We had Chris Getz. We had Chris Getz right here yesterday in this studio. It's on the channel now, the White Sox REKAP Bet podcast with White Sox GM Chris Getz. It's over 80 minutes. I know it's like, what, 80? It's a podcast, folks. Listen to wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, here on the channel. Watch it in chunks. It's really good. Like, he's very candid. You might not like some of the responses as a fan, and I get it. I think we ask fair questions. I understand. Like, I asked him flat out, what is your plan? Fans are apathetic. What's the deal? There's a lot there. Will they ever sign a $100 million player? His pick for the Chicago Bears head coach. He might have been at the NFC title game on Sunday night between the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. But thank you, Carrie. Really good stuff. I hope Jed is next. Jed will be next. Jed is on the docket. We are trying to lock that down soon as next week. Hopefully, we are trying to get Jed here in studio. Corruption. I think Caleb Williams is a good player, but people are going to say, oh, Caleb isn't good because he's a Bear. I'm like, he's good. He was coached by a trash head coach. Guys, I know that he took 68 sacks this year, okay? I just want to go here. Caleb Williams had, the fifth best passing season ever by a Chicago Bears quarterback. Now, that might not make you happy because you're going to say, well, they haven't had anybody, blah, blah, blah. Here's your top. This is the single season. I need single season passing leaders. So Bears QB single season. Okay. Caleb, here are the top 5 yardage seasons in the history of the Chicago Bears. Eric Kramer, 1995, Jay Cutler in 2014, 2009, and 2015, and Caleb Williams in 2024. Caleb Williams with multiple offensive coordinators, multiple head coaches, all kinds of chaos up front with the offensive line, a horrific center. He threw for 35, 41, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks. Okay? I know there were times he didn't look good. His decision-making was okay at best a lot of times. His completion percentage needs to be up in the 67, 68 range, as Tom Waddle's been saying right here on this channel. But come on. I think there's more. The right coach, light a fire under that ass and be ready to go next year. But put the work in at home, in the building, after practice. He's got to be the last. He doesn't have to be the last guy. He doesn't have to be the first one in, last guy to leave if the work's getting put in. But you're the quarterback. That position is as important, if not the most important in professional sports. Kate saying, bad karma to hate Notre Dame. Yeah, come on, Cap. Cap hates Notre Dame. Come on, Cap. We're going to talk about that in a minute here. Clyde checking in. How's my lunch break? Well, I'm on it, pal. I'm on it right now. Any news on the Bears, Sox? I love it. The Bulls irk the heck out of me. Yeah, Clyde, the Bulls are just a mess. They win 2, they lose 1, they lose 3, they win 2. It's ridiculous. It isn't that the Bears aren't serious about Vrabel. Vrabel isn't serious about the Bears. He ain't coming here. He's going to the Pats. Then don't take the interview. Lou, I think he doesn't take the interview. If he's what I don't like is get him in the building. I don't get him in the building. I agree. He's going to New England or Las Vegas. I think that's it. Those two. Jess, that's a lot of energy then. Have you seen Cap in the mornings after a Bears loss? Yeah, like you're talking about Pete Carroll. Like he does have more energy, as much energy as Cap. Trust me. The 3 schmucks of 1920 football driver not going to do this or get this right. Vrabel on Zoom is expected. I know. Vrabel was Kyle saying Vrabel in-person interview. He was on Zoom. Lou, surprise head coach would be a good head coach. Interesting. Because the last time we were surprised, and this is where everyone is freaking out. They're thinking surprise head coach might be Mark Trestman-esque. I don't see that in this particular case. Jeff says we need a man in that locker room. We need accountability in that locker room. We need passion for the job. in that locker room. We need player buy-in in that locker room. Okay. So if that defines a man, I get it. But like, I'm sure most of us on here, man, woman, whatever, have played for great coaches and have played for coaches. And the ones that are great stick with you for life. Dude, this is a great point. The last time a Chicago sports team went to Iowa State for their hire, Tim Floyd replaced Phil Jackson. That was... Wait, I thought it was Fred Hoiberg. Was it Fred Hoiberg, Iowa State? Didn't Fred Hoiberg coach at Iowa State? I think he did. I think it was... Or did he... Yeah. I think it was Fred Hoiberg, which also did not work out. So I'm pretty sure the real Phil Simms, if they really want to win, stop messing around and get a coach that brings championship experience, leader of men, hold people accountable, and build a winning culture. I think you said it really well there. No doubt about it, Phil. Mike, Poles is hiring a Flus-like coach. We don't know that. That's what you're feeling. That's the PTSD. He doesn't want pushback. Or I don't know if I agree with that, but I think I understand why you're saying that. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I am going to wait and see here. I don't like some of the process. I think the Bears do it different. But I'm not casting judgment on the hire until we see it. Mike says Vrabel and Ben Johnson not coming here. It'll be a guy who just wants to be a head coach, more losing again, I get it. Mike's saying, no, James Franklin. I don't want James Franklin either. Astros, I've been dying for a college football playoff like my entire life. I love it. I really do. They need to figure out the seeding. I think they know that the 5, 6, 7, and 8 seeds are the 4 teams left, and the 4 teams that had the buys all are gone. I think they know that. They'll figure that part out. It's year 1. I love it. I do. I mean, you're not, by the way, like the NCAA tournament, go back and look. There are complete sessions and days where there are blowout games, but everyone's like, oh, it's the tournament. It's so great. A 14 beat a 3. It is. I love the tournament just as much as you do. It's awesome. The fact that home games are on campuses in mid-December, it is awesome. I love it. Eric says, it seems like we have a CVS receipt with all these coaches we are requesting to interview. Honestly, the CVS receipt that's like this long, right? The only 3 coaches I want are Ben Johnson, Vrabel, and Carroll. Well, yeah, I think if you're ranking, the question is, back to what Lou was saying, the Vrabel one is probably unlikely. That's who I want as my number 1. I would have attacked him as that, but I like those 3. I know Vrabel and Carroll can lead a locker room and be a CEO. Again, on Ben Johnson, I'm not saying he can't. I love everything about his offense. I think he's going to be a good head coach, but I don't know. He'd still be a first-time head coach. Mile High, more likely to hear a name you recognize. At the DMV, you're hearing a list of 2024 Bears O-linemen. Can I pick both? Like the guy at the DMV might be one of the Bears O-linemen. Jimbo, what's up, man? Go Irish. Absolutely. I like it. Jess agrees with Astro, but college football is still figuring out the playoff structure. Basketball already has the structure and culture in place. I'm going to be paid. Jess, you and me again. Jess, you're probably rooting for Penn State, though, tonight, I'm guessing. That backyard looks like Happy Valley, I think. Panic when you see me. What a name. Let's get Theo Epstein as the president of Bear. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think Theo's probably graduated to more like commissioner, even of the NFL. Could you imagine? Asher, great job with Chris Getz. I think you all came off great. Appreciate that. The podcast is up on the channel and wherever you listen and subscribe to podcasts. Broski, what up, Guff? What up, bro? Raiders fired their GM. Oh, that just came down too? What a mess they are. Yeah, there you go. Days after firing Antonio Pierce, Tom Telesco is gone. So the Raiders that's not all that surprising. You got like new ownership. You had bad signings out there. So the Raiders now, what if they're paving the way for Mike Vrabel to say, hey, who do you want as GM? Let's line that all up together as a way to steal him from the Patriots. Could happen. Agree here, Astros. Says he understands fans are angry. What? Agreed. Like nothing. Let us be honest about Williams' numbers. How many of those yards came in garbage time? I mean, if we're going to do that, Lou, we better look up every quarterback that's thrown for 4,000 yards or 4,500 yards or 5,000 yards. You better, if you're going to sit there and to be honest with you, not that, like, a lot of his big chunk yards came in games they were coming back in. You know, the games that they botched from a time management standpoint. So I mean, I'm just being like, if we're going to go that deep into Caleb's numbers, we better be going. I mean, let's talk about Justin Fields' rushing yards from 2 years ago about garbage time. I mean, how great he great. Now when teams are playing prevent defense, Mike says Caleb will be great. He'll learn how to work. People don't understand how bad this coach and staff was. He'll be fine. Let's hope. Let's hope. I don't like polls casting a wide net, says Broski, and interviewing all these candidates who clearly shouldn't be serious candidates. Stop wasting time. Be decisive. There are a couple of names on that list that I'm like, I don't get it. Like Mike Kafka was a hot name a couple of years. The OC of the New York Giants right now should not be interviewing for the Chicago Bears head coaching job, in my opinion. So to your point, Broski, I agree with that. No matter what Hoodie might feel, the top head coaches do bring GMs they like. To be the head coach is more important than game. Yeah, 100. I see that. Hoiberg. Okay, I was right. Oh, he coached and played. Yeah, so to Tom's point earlier, the last time we went out, we did take Fred Hoiberg and Tim Floyd. So looked up Tim Floyd's old pics. He looks like Chris Getz's dad. All right, I could see that a little bit. Mile High says Vrabel runs a hybrid 3-4. We ditched all our 3-4 guys and Fangio left the system fit. Get the best coach, then you figure out the players around him. You talk to the coach about your players when you have them, and you go from there. Like, can you work with these guys? You can't work with these guys, get them out. Yeah, I know they can both interview them. That's why I'm saying, Ira, I totally agree, man. There's no reason. You only interview the guys on Zoom that have to be on Zoom. With Warren in the stadium mess, do we see the Bears in a new stadium before 2030 at this point? Wow. You'd think at this point, not before 2028, right? Like, if you put a shovel in the ground tomorrow, is it 36 months of construction? Is it 20? You'd think it couldn't be before, say, 25, 26. I think it could not be before the 28th season. So, I mean, it's 2030 seems a little far-fetched. However, we're getting to that point. Kurt, the baseball guy. Keep reading. The Cubs won't give out a multi-year deal to a closer. How many seasons have to go by the board before they need to figure out? We're gonna have Jed Hoyer here in the studio. We're gonna ask him that next week. Hopefully next week. Just putting it on the radar. Recap lunch March Madness bracket pool and a lunch show on the first Thursday or Friday. Jess, only if you come. Okay? Only if you come, Jess. I like it. Jess out there putting ideas, sales ideas out there. A recap lunch. You got to be there, Jess. If we do it, you're there. Broski, I have no problem including 5 conference champs, but they should seed based on. I don't disagree with that. Jess, actually, I called you out. You're a Pitt fan, of course. Penn State's one of our old foes, along with West Virginia. Actually rooting for Notre Dame tonight. But Jess, you should. I at least appreciate if it's in Pennsylvania. You know, I'm thinking of you. Jonathan likes Flores and Carroll. I think what is concerning with Flores is how he was with Tua. Like, at some point, we got to you flush that out. I think Flores probably gets hired in this cycle. Vrabel, lip ripper. What's up, man? By the way, dude, we got to talk about the bet of the day here soon. Vrabel going to the Raiders. I could totally see that, especially after firing their GM today. Lou, if it's an all Big Ten NCAA football championship, we need to do a wellness check on SEC fans. I don't think this year's telling me anything different about the SEC, personally. I don't. But Big Ten fans are going to feel themselves a little bit. They're going to taste themselves if it's Ohio State, Penn State, which, by the way, well, sorry. Like, I don't want to watch the Ohio. I don't want to watch a Big Ten title game. I don't. Sorry. Don't want to. Who do you want to win the couch? Okay, so this is going to bring back my teenage roots, and maybe we sneak this in, Eric. Maybe we just do this right now. Okay. You're asking who I want to win. We might as well get to the bet of the day. Normally, I give you this research based. Okay, so yesterday we had Oklahoma. You asked for who I want to win the game. We're going with the Irish tonight. I want Notre Dame too. And some of that I have actually concerned about from the nauseating fan base that can be Notre Dame football. They haven't won a meaningful game in almost 4 decades. So this actually, I like Marcus Freeman a lot. I'm a huge Marcus Freeman guy. And because of that, I really like the idea of Notre Dame. I'm going to lay the 1.5 tonight. I think Notre Dame at the end of the day, they defensively they match up really well. Like the two defenses are going to go toe to toe, but Riley Leonard, I think, is going to be the difference maker tonight. I do think Riley Leonard at quarterback is going to be a guy, the 5th year, the transfer from from Duke last year. I think that's going to be I really do. I think at the end of the day, Riley Leonard gets it done. Notre Dame minus 1.5. That's who I want to win tonight. And I hate Ohio State. They have a $25 million roster. Ryan Day's out there. Woe is me. I hope Texas beats Ohio State. I do. But part of me is like, to be the best, you got to beat the best. I'd love to see Notre Dame. Notre Dame took a lot of flack for beating losing to Northern Illinois. They should have. They won all the games they needed to from there. Some with a pounding. I'm riding the Irish, guys. I'm riding the Irish. So yesterday we had Oklahoma. And I'm watching with my buddy Jordan, who's in town, in studio today, by the way. A little shout out to Jordan, who's seeing how the recap sausage is made. And we're watching the Oklahoma game last night, out having a pop or two, rekindling some old stories, telling lies. And Texas A&M hits a 3-pointer to take a 2-point lead late. And it was a 1-point game. Oklahoma comes down. There is a clear push off from the defender. They call a foul on the floor. It looks like it might be 2 shots to Oklahoma with a chance to tie the game. They look at we look at the replay. The guy, it's a major flop city. It goes the other way. It shouldn't have been a foul. It should have been a foul the other way. It should have been 2 free throws. Instead, Oklahoma loses. So yet again, we can't get to 500. We're riding the Irish. If you've been playing the trend lately, it's win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. I'm just going to say the trend is your friend sometimes. You guys figure out where you want to go. Big Mike saying, TSA Mike, what up, dude? Big game tonight. No doubt about it. I'm on the Irish. Speaking of Fields to the Bears, yes, they will. Is it a 6th round? I think it's a 6th round pick. Yes, they only get, because he did not take 51% of the snaps. Jimbo, tell me the last time a starter finished the whole season. Caleb is the deal. He's the first one to do it's embarrassing. I think since Cutler in 2009, I want to say. I think that's something I remember off the top of my head. Okay. I know Kafka didn't call plays, which is another reason as to why he shouldn't be getting an interview. Yeah, there's a 6th round pick. Yes, I know. Kurt is really frustrated with Jed Hoyer. Astros, another awful decision by Poles to cut Herbert. 0 fullbacks. They trade him for a 7th round pick. Jess, you'll be there? Okay, that's a deal. We'll have to figure it out. Recap live from Vegas for Bears Raiders next year. Landon, don't get us thinking, dude. I don't hate that at all. Are we getting lunch hour merch? Or when are we getting lunch hour merch? Katie and I discussed this. I think we should get it. Do you guys want it to be in the turquoise blue, by the way? Do you want, here, just to give you a do we want the turquoise blue? I think we got to have the burger, fries, and drink, but do we want the turquoise blue? Just wants the Irish fans. Notre Dame's a team of mercenaries. So what? So is everybody. So many key players are 1-year transfers. That's how you build teams. You either pay them or you live in the portal. Something Notre Dame's never done. Mike doesn't know. Well, it's more than Notre Dame grad. What's the old joke? And this is like, there's going to be people out here that are pissed at me, but it's fine. Like, how do you know somebody went to Notre Dame? They'll tell you. Like, that's the joke. So, Lip Ripper, you were on the game. You were on the game last night. Love it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Lip Ripper. It was a bad call. No, they're keeping. What about this? Let me give you a scenario here as we wrap things up. If Ohio State wins the national title, do they keep Day or gas him? You're not firing a guy that won a national title, but as a last laugh, maybe Ryan Day is on the Chicago Bears list. Think about that. Maybe Ryan Day wins the national title. He's getting all this crap for he can't beat Michigan, and he walks off to the sunset, comes here to Chicago, and he gets under Caleb Williams and lets it ride. I mean, it's something to think about. You hear surprise names, that's where my mind goes. That's a surprise type thing. All right, there's a reminder. The bet of the day. We're riding the Irish. Riding the Irish. This is probably a more heart than head. You never bet with your heart, by the way. You always bet with your head. That's what's tough about this. I want Notre Dame to win, but I do think that they are a better football team at the end of the day. I think they have the better roster, and it's because I think they're better in the trenches. I really do. I think their offensive line is better. I think the key players that we just talked about from the portal, Broski brought up, those 7 players from the portal, 6 of which are big-time starters, make the difference tonight. Jess says nope on day. Can't close in the critical game with Michigan. Look, how's anybody else done against the Pack, Jess? It's just facts. I appreciate you guys greatly. Another edition of the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff, me, Ryan McGuffey, right here on the Recap Network. Check out the Chris Getz podcast that's available on the channel right now, both in video and audio form, wherever you listen, download, and subscribe to your podcast. For everyone here at the Recap team, for my guy, Jordan, who came in from the beautiful state of Rhode Island, I appreciate all of you guys. We will see what happens with the Irish tonight. And we have another game between Texas and Ohio State tomorrow before a big weekend ahead in the NFL playoffs. I'm Guff, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.